If I could bring in retired Lieutenant Colonel Darren Gobb, former battalion commander, Black Hawk, helicopter pilot and senior geopolitical strategist. Thank you for being with us this morning. Just, when we're just still trying to get the details of how this happened last night. Black Hawk helicopters are one of the most utilized aircraft, in the military arsenal. They're also one of just the most consistently effective and maintenance-wise, just one of the sturdiest.
Yeah, those are all very true statements. I mean, you're looking at a nation that has about 1,200 or so Blackhawks, who's sold many across the world because of how reliable they are. I can speak from personal experience what they're capable of surviving when it comes to absorbing RPG fire and things like that. So we're talking about an aircraft that can then take a lot. And so I think you're very unlikely to hear about mechanical issues discovered with the aircraft or maintenance problems that could have been identified beforehand. I'm focused right now based purely what I've seen, hypothetically, on procedures, how you fly through the airspace, altitudes, things like that, and also communications. What did ATC say? Who did they say it to? And was action taken based on those statements? And part of the reason why those are important is because commercial airplanes do have the black box that record everything. This model of a Black Hawk does not have the black box record either instruments or record voice transmissions. You're going to have to get that from air traffic control and other eyewitnesses from around the area.
And Colonel, and Aaron was speaking just a little bit about how, from the video that we've seen so far, it does seem as though the skies were clear and the American Airlines jet was already, I guess, I would say about under 500 feet altitude. And yet that helicopter seemed to, there was no obstacles between the helicopter and that plane that we're seeing now. These planes, that all kinds of commercial planes, have all kinds of devices to, show that they're out there, right? Not just lights, but there's also all kinds of devices which presumably wouldn't have been active at 400 feet of elevation. But how does something like this possibly occur when everything was lit?
Yeah, there are a number of hypothetical scenarios I can work through as well with regards to this. So I will say that those systems that have certain degraded function on a commercial airline below 1,500 feet above the ground are not things that are installed on the Lima model Black Hawk that was from the Army here. So collision avoidance systems, those are not installed in that helicopter, so that would not have helped. Yes, it was a clear night. Yes, it should have been visible. However, one scenario that I've looked at purely from what I'm seeing from the angle on the video is if this aircraft was high enough in altitude, the Black Hawk was high enough in altitude outside of the flight corridor, whether they knew it or not, there is a potential that an aircraft that was that close to landing, the commercial aircraft, that the lights from that aircraft would have easily been mistaken and blended into the sheer number of lights that surround Washington, D.C. It has happened to me, so I know it can happen in a dense and urban environment like that. Not saying it is what happened. I'm just trying to give a plausible explanation for how something like that is even remotely possible. That's an issue of adhering to proper procedures in how things are flown there again, and potentially the adhering to the radio traffic from air traffic control or other agencies there.